Henry Ford, back in the beginning of the 1900s, said if I had asked consumers what they wanted, they would have told me a faster horse. And of course, he was all about the Model T. He wanted to bring it at scale to the marketplace. But he felt like consumers didn't know. They didn't know what they wanted. Steve Jobs has actually said something very similar in new product development, that you can't ask consumers what they want when we haven't created it for them yet. We haven't shown them yet. So market research has gotten a bad name for this, because you basically ask somebody a question, will you buy this, or what are the primary reasons why you would buy this? And they will come up with reasons and tell you, and they may or may not be an accurate prediction of what will happen in the marketplace. So we've needed new market research methods to get around that can't say, won't say problem. Can't say means I don't have conscious access to the information, I don't know. And won't say is I won't tell you because I'm embarrassed. For social presentation reasons, I don't want to tell you what the real drivers of my behavior are. So enter behavioral science. And this is a statement that we think will be true. The future of marketing can be found today in the behavioral science literature. When we talk about behavioral science, we're talking about several subdisciplines. One is neuroscience. And neuroscience, including neuromarketing, includes EEG, which is an electroencephalography. It measures electrical of your brain. Some people put biometrics in there, which is measuring your heart rate or skin conductance response, how much you're sweating in your palms. And when you present people with new products and you measure their brain activity or you measure their physiological response, you can see whether they're experiencing approach or avoidance emotion. And that is highly predictive of what they will actually do when that product gets to market. Cultural anthropology is another subdiscipline of behavioral science. And this is what Joan was talking about when she talked about Gillette launching in India. Cultural anthropology gives us the practice of ethnography, which is the observation of behavior in actual environment. What you're doing with ethnography is you're observing people and their natural behaviors, and you're gleaning insight through that observation. Insight through observation, as you're going to see, is the common thread between all of these subdisciplines of behavioral science. Of course, we have psychology. In psychology, we have a lot of insight. One of the things that we've learned in psychology is how to measure implicit responses to products and to brands. This is a technique that was originally developed by social psychologists who were interested in studying stereotypes. And stereotypes are the type of thing that people don't want to admit that they have or actually don't know that they have. And so social psychologists develop techniques to measure somebody's implicit racial bias towards another group without asking them any explicit questions. Well, the consumer psychologists got a hold of this method and said this can be used for any can't say, won't say problem. And it's scalable globally because now it can be done on the internet and on mobile devices. Behavioral economics, I know there are some people in the crowd who practice behavioral economics. Has anybody read Cass Sunstein and Dick Thaler's Nudge or Predictably Irrational by Dan Ariely? Yeah, show of hands. These are good, accessible points to behavioral economics. And that's understanding how people are irrational in predictable ways and then using that information to better model what they'll do in an actual environment. And then finally, sociology is a fifth discipline of behavioral science. And this is really important from a social values analysis perspective. Don is going to talk a lot more about this in the second half of this presentation. But when we monitor the social media conversation and we observe what's happening in that conversation, we're gleaning insight through observation of that conversation about what people value and about what products might be successful among those people. So listening and gleaning insight through observation on social media is a key to new product launch success.